Yeah, this smiling fly boy, 1200 for sure, uptown represented, the East too, you heard me? So, uptown East Beats all day long, straight like that.
Yeah, Smiley in this bitch, you heard me? Amiga Street, 1200 for sure. Yeah, uptown representative. The East 2, where y'all at, man? Anyway, like, yeah, man, came on here to just run a little up right quick. Some throwback, you know what I'm saying? For my AT and my the Calio, my little cousin. Lil Diesel from out the mouth. Lil Diesel flat 30, man. Shout out to dude, man. I don't know dude personally or nothing like that. I ain't never had a conversation with him or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, from what I see, man, Diesel, this is Debbie English. She said she killing you. That's my auntie, man. It's my mama, half sister, so they got the same daddy, but different mamas. So like, my mama was raised by her daddy, so it's really, you know, her sister, you did, because they was raised in the same household. So like, yeah, my auntie Debbie, you heard me? So they used to call her Yo-Yo sometimes. She the jello shot lady, you could catch you at the second line. I'm serving her jellos, you heard me? She right here, this up.
Yeah, they start buying everything, buying all kinds.
What's up, love? Yes, what's happening, darling? We in New Orleans, you heard me? Downtown. All the way downtown by Carmen, baby. What?
Downtown.
Yeah. Yes. My nephew in New Orleans, you already know what it's hitting for. I am the original jello shot lady, baby, cutting up for the, not the 9-9.
Yeah. Anyway, man, back in the G, man, I can remember when I was 13, 14 years old, man. This had to be 94, 95, 95, something like no later than 95. Dig, probably 94 sometime, might be 93. But anyway, my auntie was living in the Calio, you heard me, and she got into it. I don't know if y'all know the dude, Patrick, Spiggy and all them, you heard me. She had and got into it with the boys back there, man, because in fact, you know what I'm saying, hot boy Jimmy, you heard me, Jimmy Keller, who Master P always talking about. That's my AT. That's her son dad. Her son is Lil Jimmy, CP3 Lil one, who was hanging with C Murray, who was signed to No Limit and signed a Truth. Yeah, that's my little cousin. You dig? So yeah, anyway, he was a little boy at the time, probably like 4, 5 years old. Anyway, they got into it with Spiggy and them from out the project. I don't know if Jimmy had got into it with them boys or what that was about. You know what I'm saying? I was too young to know. I don't know the story. I never talked to my auntie about it. Matter of fact, I hope she don't hit me upside the head for putting this out. Say, I'm sorry, auntie. But anyway, yeah, she got into it with them boys, and the boys laid down and threw the cocktail through a window and shit, you dig? She had the ski skirt from out the yoke. She came, we were staying in downtown by the Lafitte, across the tracks on St. Louis Street. She came down there and ducked off by our crib for probably about 2-3 months, you heard me? And what was funny is that I can remember what was crazy is, man, the world going to circuit, dog. What was crazy is that when I heard them boys, Gangsta and Lil Diesel talk about this Mac-11 that he had, you know, it was kind of strange because I remember Mac-11, just like they had talked about. So I'm laying there talking to my AT. She be on Facebook a lot, and she was laying up there, was live and said, having a Mac-11 game station. Diesel was describing. And what's funny is, I see my AT doing on Facebook. She goes live and like, she give like inspiration to people and stuff like that, shit like that. And she probably was gonna want to start doing that in her spare time. So like, I told her, yeah, man, I was trying to tell her how to set up a YouTube page and stuff like that. So she laid there and got on the subject about it, and she said, yeah, man, my cousin just came home. Like, yeah, that's what he's doing now. So I'm like, who your cousin is? And she said, Diesal. And I said, Diesel? I say, like, you talking about that little dude that just came home from doing like 30 years? She's like, yeah. She said, that's my first cousin. That's my cousin, man. And I say, AT, you remember that Mac-11 that you came by our house with? She's like, oh yeah, that was for, she said, matter of fact, that was Diesel. Diesel gave that to me. She's like, ask him. I said, I don't know him, but he know a dude that I do know. You know, I can't ask him or nothing like that because, you know, I don't really talk to dude, but I know what you're talking about. I said, so that's the same gun? It's like, yeah, he gave me that gun because of that shit, all that shit that happened. He gave that gun to me. She said, matter of fact, I held that gun for probably about the whole summer, so about 3 months. I said, damn, yeah, I sure remember that you had that Mac-11, because I remember us going, we were standing on St. Louis Street. I think the next street over, they had a bar. So I remember going, bro, I'm like 120 pounds soaking wet with bricks in my pocket. Short, probably like 5'8". I remember going to the bar, but my ATM won't go nowhere with that Mac-11. She used to have her little Louis Vuitton leather purse with her. She carried on her shoulder. That bitch used to be right there in the purse with her. So like we went, her and her girlfriend, they had on, that's with tennis skirts. I think that they bought the tennis skirts. Y'all remember them tennis skirts chicks used to wear? Yeah, anyway, I think that they the ones who made them bitches came out. I remember her and her friend Keisha had on brand new, they just came out, tennis skirts. Nike tennis skirts with the whole outfit. They went around the corner to the bar and told me to come with them. Why they got on tennis skirts and I got on the whole starter jacket, dog. She give me the Mac-11. She said, hold this. She said, if anything jump off, you just take it out and you just start spraying. It's already cocked back. So like, just put this bitch in your coat. She said, you just watch us. We gonna have us a good time. You just watch everything that's going on. If anybody run up, you take that out and you get to work with it. We gonna deal with everything else after that. So I'm like, all right, yeah, man. But yeah, nothing didn't pop off or nothing like that there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody probably knew where she was at. She just was saying, I guess, you know, New Orleans small, dog. So like, I think that she had met some of the niggas from all Bank Street. If I can remember right, it was Ross and them from all Bank Street, man. I don't know, some people might know him, some people might not. But it was just some little hustlers back then. Ross and them, if you know, you know. You dig? Like some niggas from all Bank Street shit. You know how it is, man. The third wall is the third wall. Bank Street niggas probably could have known Cali niggas. You never know. So like yeah, they had laid there and partied and shit, and everything was cool. Ain't nothing jump off, but I still remember looking at the Mac-11, holding it. That bitch was so cold, cause it was like I ain't never saw a Mac-11 in person like a real one. That bitch was like I call it a Uzi. That bitch is like a Uzi. That bitch is sharp as a motherfucker, dog. That bitch is great. Like that bitch is perfect. That bitch was nice. Man, I remember that gun, that Mac-11. That's the first and only Mac-11 I ever seen in person, dog. And held that bitch and everything. I remember her having that bitch for a long time, whole summer, because I remember, like, you know, when she came down, school was over. I never was going to school, so it had to be summertime. So yeah, like, yeah. But I just wanted to run that little app about that same Mac-11 that Diesel and them had, even though I don't know him, I done held that gun before. Anyway, yeah.